Yorokobe Shonen. It's me, your not-so-favorite bad power scaler on the internet. As some of you might have noticed, I put out a poll about 3 weeks ago where I listed 4 characters you guys could pick from. The winner of this poll would become the next subject for my, the X vs Dragon Ball series I have on my channel. The winner of this poll was none other than Bobobo-bo Bo-bobo, whom I will refer to as Bobobo throughout this video because that name is a tongue twister and a half. But this poll got well over 100 votes, so I would like to really thank all of you for actually voting on it and, helping me depict the type of content I want to make going forward. Also, on a side note, I am using a mic I borrowed from work, so if the audio sounds better or maybe worse, be sure to let me know. I am thinking of buying another one just like this for personal use if the effects are, positive. But to start the video off, let's do a small short summary of what Bobobo as a franchise is all about for the people who might not know anything about it. The franchise Bobobo-bo Bo-bobo is set in the year 3000X, where the world is ruled by the oppressive Maruhage Empire, led by Emperor Tsurutsurulina IV. The Empire's primary mission is to conduct a quote-unquote hare hunt, where their forces, known as hare hunters, forcibly shave people bald, leaving devastation in their wake. Not gonna lie, I kinda feel personally attacked by this since my hairline is absolutely abysmal, so I kinda feel like the villains in this show are basically my supervillain origin story. Like, if my sorry ass is going bald, you better believe I am taking all of you with me. But that little tangent aside, the protagonist Bobobo is a bizarre yet formidable rebel with a golden afro who uses a unique martial art called the Fist of the Nose Hair or the Hanage Shinken, allowing him to control his nose hairs as weapons, and alongside his companions he sets out to dismantle the Chrome Dome Empire. These companions include Beauty, a teenage girl saved by Bobobo from the hare hunters. She often finds herself in the middle of the chaos, providing a somewhat, I suppose, normal and grounded perspective amidst the general madness that is, the series Bobobo. But we also have Don Patch, an eccentric star-shaped creature who leads the Hajike gang, fighting with his own brand of insanity and confusion tactics, if I had to describe it. He pairs very well with Bobobo as a comedic duo, just completely chaotic evil, basically. Or well, maybe it's chaotic good. Like, it's definitely chaotic. Like, no matter what direction you go in, chaotic is going to be in there. And finally, for like the quote-unquote main 4, we have Heppo Komaru, or Gasser in the English version. He is a teenage boy with the power of Onara Shinken, or Super Fist of the Backwind, using flatulence as a weapon. Yes, fart jokes are a major part of the Bobobo plot, like an actual main character part of the plot. I know. But the narrative is heavily comedic, characterized by slapstick, completely random humor, frequent fourth wall breaks, and parodies of various other manga and anime tropes. The humor is particularly tailored to the Japanese audiences with, puns, cultural references, and absurd scenarios that, Japanese people are more likely to get than Western people. However, the series does not take itself seriously at all. It focuses more on the bizarre and comedic elements rather than a coherent plot, with battles often devolving into surreal gag-like contests. Really, it wouldn't be right to even call some of these battles quote-unquote battles. But Bobobo and his friends travel from place to place, liberating towns from the hare hunters, gathering allies, and challenging the Empire's hierarchy, including the formidable Big Four, and ultimately aiming to confront the Emperor himself. The journey is filled with strange characters, unexpected twists, and a constant barrage of humor, making the franchise more of an experience in absurdity than a straightforward, story-driven narrative. You could watch a random episode of Bobobo and you'd still kinda get it, I suppose, but there is a story, but it's not really the center point of the show. But as per usual with these types of videos, I do feel the personal responsibility to throw in a little spoiler warning. Nothing is more annoying than suddenly getting spoiled on major abilities and plot points of an anime you want to watch. So please be aware that I will be talking about abilities and plot points that might spoil a bit of the franchise if you don't want to get spoiled, right? So just be aware of that if you don't want me to spoil anything for you. Now, if you want to watch the show or read the light novels first, or the manga if there is a manga, right, before continuing the video, please by all means do so. I actively encourage it. In the case of Bobobo, the manga and anime themselves are also very fun to engross yourself in, so I kind of want you to look at them yourselves anyway, to form your own opinion without me having essentially tainted your opinion with my own opinion, right? But with that little warning out of the way, let's shine the spotlight on the golden afro himself. Now, at the very core of his character, Bobobo is the epitome of a gag character just like Arale is in Dr. Slump and the Dragon Ball universe, I suppose. Even his own series does not take him seriously, which sounds like he must be very weak, right? But the opposite is true. Bobobo is broken beyond any doubt of the word. Bobobo is a user of the legendary Hanage Shinken, or, Fist of the Nose Hair, like we said earlier. And yeah, if that sounded familiar to some of you, don't think you are going crazy, because Hanage Shinken is a parody of Hokuto Shinken from the Fist of the North Star franchise. But instead of actually, fighting with fists and kicks and, special abilities, it just allows Bobobo to freely control his nose hair. Like, that's basically the ability. He can freely extend and move these nose hairs around in order to slash enemies, whip enemies, and even constrain his opponents. And it also seems that these nose hairs are completely indestructible, which is a nice extra to have, right? But this really is just his basic fighting style. To give you some context, Bobobo has shown the following fun abilities: universe-level reality warping powers, creating and destroying alternate universes, spawning and pulling anything he wants from his afro and nose, instant healing and regeneration, pretty much total immunity to death, plus the ability to resurrect if he does somehow die, being unbound by any rules of logic or reality, pretty much being separated from the laws of causality, basically, and inexplicably just countering nearly any attack. Even though he shouldn't really have a counter for it, he still just counters it. And there are many more insanely super techniques involving his nose hair and sometimes even his armpit hair, but the stuff he has done in universe is actually insane if you just list them off. For example, some of his actual feats in universe are that he has destroyed reality warpers with ease, he has pulled the sun out of his position and one-punch it into oblivion. This means he can move, this number on screen, which I'm not going to try and pronounce, in weight easily, and destroy a mass that can hold 1 million Earths with a single punch. It also means he is pretty much immune to anything less than at least 15 million degrees Celsius, and I'll show the degrees Fahrenheit on screen for you American viewers. Just know it's hot. Like, he's basically immune to anything fire related, let's be honest there. And let me remind you that the sun has been taking out enemies all the way into the Cell Saga if you count the movies, by the way. And Bobobo just shits all over that. But back to another one of his pretty much insane feats. He has created and destroyed several universes. This automatically places him in the tier of Zeno, since to my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong of course, outside of Zeno there has not really been a character shown who can destroy or create entire universes in Dragon Ball, at least in a single action or a single move, right? Now I know that there are quotes that the fight between Beerus and God Goku threatened the universe, as well as the fight between Champa and Beerus threatening both Universe 6 and 7. But I do take these with a bit of a grain of salt. It is perfectly possible these statements are completely true, like I'm not going to deny that, but considering how unimaginably large universes are, I feel these statements are mostly just used to portray the battle as being, epic and never before seen powerful, just huge proportions, right? Like, you feel me? Bobobo can actually just, fold a universe up and put it in his afro or some wacky stuff like that. In my honest opinion, Super Saiyan Blue Ultra Instinct Kaioken times 100 Limit Breaker Goku would lose to Bobobo in 2 seconds. He really is just that guy. And if you go through the manga and the anime and list every single one of his ridiculous feats here, this video would never end, because every chapter there are 10 panels you can just put here as, oh, he's insane, he's completely batshit crazy. But by now you get the point, right? Bobobo is an Arale tier gag character that cannot really lose unless he wants to actually lose, because he just won't lose. I mean, he does have weaknesses, such as him being completely insane, as in psych ward level insane, and he suffers from severe mood swings, and he is generally not the brightest out of the cast, but none of those weaknesses actually truly matter in a fight. You could maybe make some arguments that it could affect him, but they don't affect his powers in any way. If anything, if he just goes into a psychotic episode, he might just be more powerful than normal, right? But in order to please you guys, I will say Bobobo has only once truly ever lost a battle. The only fight he could not win was against the Parents and Teachers Association, when the PTA cancelled this anime due to it being a bad influence on children nationwide. Man, I cannot begin to explain how fun I think it is that the only confirmed actual real defeat he has suffered is to a bunch of Karens in the PTA because he's a bad influence on children. I'm sorry, that just really tickles my asshole. But Bobobo versus the world of Dragon Ball, right? The simple answer is that he would clear everything with great ease, and the more complicated answer is that he would completely shit on the verse with no effort expended on his part at all. As you have probably guessed from the way this video went, Bobobo easily joins the highest tier of my tier list. Being a god tier gag character just means that he can't lose until he wants to lose, and even then, by his logic, he would still win somehow. Bobobo really is one of those forgotten like core memories from my childhood that felt like a fever dream until some of you guys actually made me remember him through your comments on my videos. So I would really like to thank everyone who made me remember him, because this video was pretty damn fun to make, and seeing someone completely destroy Dragon Ball again after a long drought is bound to be refreshing to some of you too. But yeah, what do you guys think? Did I do a proper job of trying to rank Bobobo, or did I just get this entire thing completely wrong, which is also completely possible, right? So be sure to let me know your own takes in the comments down below in order to have a totally civil discussion of anime power scaling. Oh, and just another reminder here, like I'm using a new mic here that I'm planning to buy for myself, but this one is borrowed. So if you think the audio sounds better in this video, do let me know, because I'm thinking of getting a new mic anyway, and if this one just fits every bill, then you know I probably want to get this one. I think it's a Blue Yeti, but I don't know what type of Blue Yeti it is, but I have the box somewhere, so from what I know, Blue Yeti is good, so I'm just hoping that this will be a noticeable improvement in audio quality for you guys as well. But with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching today's video. As per usual, I truly do appreciate every single viewer that takes the time out of their day to watch my content. It just makes me happy to know that even a handful of people actually enjoys the content I produce and like tries to watch every video, right? So if you would like to see more of my content in the future, please consider clicking the subscribe button and turning on all notifications for my channel. I would also really appreciate it if you would consider, you know, maybe watching another one of my videos on my channel or in the sidebar or to the right? So work hard, study well, and eat and sleep plenty, and I will see you all again in the next video. Peace out.